Joe Ceci. I live in Inglewood, just about a kilometer and a half from here, and I'm excited to be here at the new Central Library because it's a wonderful, wonderful gathering place for this community. We're Ontarian. I moved here in 1980, and since then I've been fully all-in Calgarian. For a while I worked as a community social worker in three different places here in town. And then in 1995 I ran for city council and was elected, and I served 5 terms on Calgary City Council and stepped down in 2010. And then I started working for Momentum Community Economic Development as the public policy manager, and together with many people in this community, we worked to eliminate payday lending in Alberta. That was one of Momentum's goals, and in partnership with many activists across Alberta, we were able to achieve that. When I got elected as an NDP MLA for Calgary Fort in 2015. And since then, I've been the Minister of Finance and the President of Treasury Board, working hard to make life more affordable for Albertans and to keep the quality of life high for all Albertans. Self-sustaining abilities for Albertans. Right now we have a continuation of a income support program for people who are unable to work or through no fault of their own don't have an income. Alberta, if we were to move towards a basic income, it would provide a lot more support and dignity to individuals who now have to qualify for so many things. It would also mean the streamlining of delivery services. There's great hopes that it would mean a rationalizing of the programs and services, so there'd be kind of like a bank account for a person would get recharged on a monthly basis, and they wouldn't have to qualify for so many other things. So it would mean a person's ability to probably have a lot more dignity in their life, not have to tell their story over and over and over again, and it would mean that government and citizens would have a better relationship, I think, ultimately. It probably would mean higher support levels, financial levels. It might mean we could dedicate better services to individuals to help them address more of the issues that they have in their life, because there'd be less of a concern about the financial side and qualifying and keeping records. And
yeah,
I mean, there's accountability for sure. It's not like Albertans wouldn't ask for some accountability, and those who are receiving basic incomes would be providing that accountability on a regular, whenever basis. But yeah, I know there's been pilots in other provinces. Unfortunately, the ones in Ontario were shut down. Frankly, I was looking towards information from those pilots to better support and understand how Alberta potentially could move in that direction. Well, I think I've mentioned a couple things. It streamlines government programs and services and allows government and supports to focus on things that will probably be more meaningful in people's lives. Instead of a bit of a watchdog approach, it would be an enabling approach. How can we build on the person's challenges and address them? So there'd be a kind of a rechanneling of focus. There would be a simplification for people who, sometimes are seen as clients now. They'd probably be less client identified as clients. They'd be just folks in Alberta who are needing this at this point in time in their life. And it's not to say some wouldn't be on basic income forever, but there would, and some would move in and out of basic income. but there'd be, as I was trying to say, a focus on what's important for them as opposed to what's important for systems to understand about them and to make sure, you know, that there's not cheating going on, which is, any kind of study shows that it's just a minor amount of fraud that goes on in this, far less than people expect or people believe happens. So I guess that's what draws me to it, the potential that we actually address the issues people have and help them climb out of poverty by providing support. So there's, you know, basic income support, so there's no question, no worry, but then you focus on the things with that person that they want to, what they need, what they believe they need to change their lives. Yep. Yeah, this is transformational. This is system transfer. That's a challenge in and of itself, to think differently, to imagine a different world where we don't have the same systems in place. That's challenging for people, and not the least government, because you know, there's a historical way of doing things for decades, and if we're going to do something different, then there's a lot of checks and balances that probably need to be figured out before we go in that direction. Looking back to 2017 when I last addressed this issue, I would say the advice is the same. You know, build relationships as advocates, press in respectful ways, and work from the ground up, so that a broader and bigger group of people understand the issues and are aligned to trying to make change together. So the Max Bell Public Policy Institute says, you know, build alliances with workers, with people in the system, and keep kind of addressing it as you go up in the hierarchy of government, and cost benefits is always, you know, important for government officials to understand. Is there, how much of a cost is here? How much of a benefit is driven as a result of changing the way things are delivered? It's the next frontier, I guess, of this work is to move in a direction that addresses the challenges people feel that basic income presents governments, presents people and society, and to say we can overcome those.